Politicians in Ireland will celebrate anything so trivial and small as long as it makes them look good. Today we have a news story, and I can't believe I'm saying this, of a politician celebrating a water refill station. Okay, a place where you fill up water bottles. Today we have Darragh O'Brien, guys. This is the first water refill station at the Malahide Dart station. This is a brilliant incentive to reduce plastic waste and provide clean, fresh water to the commuters across the country. You know, Donald Trump is curing the world of woke, solving big issues like, Iran and flipping all these massive countries, huge wars. We have Elon Musk putting rockets on the Mars and on the moon. And what do we have here in Ireland from our politicians? Water refill stations, water taps. Oh my God, let's watch this video, guys. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I have a bunch of other news stories as well to react to. Let's listen to this one first. I couldn't believe this was actually a news story.
Here at Malahide train station, which is one of the first water refilling facilities in many of our train stations. And Malahide is up and running here now. There'll be many others right the way across Dublin and indeed across the country, helping reduce our dependence on plastics and access to clean filtered water for commuters and the public in general. Here at Malahide train.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. If I was a politician, I would be absolutely embarrassed to even have a segment and promote that BS. Completely crazy, guys. I mean, absolutely insane. But maybe not as crazy as this next news story. We have the Irish Watchdog, 2.2 billion collected on the M50 from hard-pressed motorists. So anyone that knows anything about the M50, if you go north on the M50 or south, coming from like Dublin Airport and things like that, then you have to pay a toll. The toll is rising every year. If you're heading south down to the the posher parts of Dublin, you actually don't have to pay a toll, which is again another thing to screw over the poor people, the middle class of Ireland. Of course, the rich people get a tax break, and this is one of the tax breaks that they get. Okay, because the toll keeps going up every year. I think now it's up to $3.90. Okay, so the middle one in Portumna, okay, if you guys are driving on the main motorway to Dublin in Portumna, it's a toll of like €2.50, €3. And now the main one in Dublin is about €3.90, €4. So every year it's going up in price and getting crazy and crazy. But they've paid off this toll years and years ago. They actually sold it to a foreign company to monitor it. It's an absolute shit show, guys. This government is fleecing hard-working commuters. To put this in context, they're spending the same amount annually to accommodate illegals. Yeah, and actually I think accommodating illegals in the last 3 years has been up to €6.4 billion. So crazy. These parasites are robbing us blind. Okay, let's hear about the M50 tolls, because these are just ludicrous and they get worse every year. They just keep rising in price.
So the M50, I seen these figures the other day. The M50 made €2.2 billion in tolls since 2008. That blew my mind. Have you seen the video?
The government has collected €2.2 billion on the M50 tolls since 2008.
So just have a listen to those figures again. This is just crazy. So the cost to build the two bridges originally, 58 million, which was made back in 1 year of tolls. Then the business was sold to the government for 600 million, okay? And we're just being taxed and told in a system where we don't even have public transport options not to use it,
Yeah, so, in other countries like Barcelona and, Eastern Europe, Poland, these kind of places, they have trams running in their main cities. Okay, they have these huge, public transport systems in England, the underground. And then in Ireland, we don't even have a different choice. Like, we have to use the M50 and we have to pay these shit tolls.
We're really relying on it to get to work, to do what we have to do. So then I seen this article the other day, and after seeing those figures, this really just sent me over the edge. So nearly 5,900 accidents and incidents took place on the country's busiest road last year, a rate of around 16 per day. So on a road that we're being tolled on, really expensive tolls with no other option, now there's up to 16 accidents and incidents a day. Like, it's treacherous to use. I think we should avoid using this road at all costs. Like 16 accidents a day. That's high risk. I don't think there's another road in the country where you'd have that sort of risk. And now they want you to pay even more for it when this thing is paid for itself. more than 32 times.
So it's paid for itself more than 30 times over. That is absolutely crazy. So there's nothing going into maintenance. You know, maintenance wouldn't cost anywhere near that 2.2 billion figure, nor would it cost anywhere near the 58 million or whatever it costs to actually make the actual M50. And I've actually driven on the M50 loads. I drove on it on Saturday. Okay, I drive a lot around Dublin and around Ireland, and it's super unsafe. You know, people are merging into lanes, they're listening to music, they're not paying attention to the road. I nearly crashed into somebody. Okay, you heard it from the man himself. 16 casualties per day. Okay, so 16 car collisions, and we're not talking about going on the back roads where you're doing 40 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 50 kilometers. People are driving 120 kilometers, 100 kilometers on these main M50 road. It's absolutely treacherous. So not only do they not provide safety, they also charge out the flipping wazoo for it. So you're basically just paying to get into a car crash. I would do everything to avoid that. I try and drive through Dublin City now. I really don't try and drive these massive public roads, these main roads, because, you know, it is straight up treacherous, guys. Okay, and it's insane. And this is the kind of expense that the government puts on us. You know, they want to make things more and more expensive. And speaking of expenses, we have another news story where it came out yesterday that there was a 10% drop in tourism into Ireland in May compared to the same figures last month or last year, probably last month as well. I mean, this whole year has just been way downhill compared to other years. And this is an RT News video, okay, by the RT presenters. They said they went to the Cliffs of Moher to ask tourists about how expensive they think Ireland is. Now, watch this video. This is absolutely crazy. Okay, you have some people comparing it to like New York City and like massive metropolitan cities that, you know, these cities in these countries are massively overpriced. We're talking about Dublin. That's not really, it's only 1 million people living in there. Not really a metropolitan city, you know, anything like that. So let's hear how expensive they think it is.
The point, it's cheaper than England.
The Guinness,
so that's good.
The Guinness is the other beer.
And the Guinness is better, so.
Yeah. So we're just doing a little cycling tour around Ireland. We started off in Rosslare, went north to Dublin, Belfast, round the coast, and now we're heading south. It's been very expensive for us, because obviously we're on our bikes just there, and we don't have any cooking equipment, so we're living off ham rolls, cheese rolls, and campsites as well, which is very, very expensive.
So people that are touring Ireland on their bikes and things like that, you know, are going to save some kind of cost because you're not staying in hotels. But if you're staying in hotels, I mean, that cost ramps up massively, you know.
Looking about €30 minimum a day.
We're staying near Galloway, and it was about $200 a night.
Huh? So they're staying in Galway for €200 a night. Oh my God, that's crazy. €200 a night. I mean, that is massive.
For a motel. However, I would say in terms of like food and itinerary and just activities in general, it's honestly about the same price as New York City. So I think we're very fortunate that we don't find it too expensive.
So New York City, like if you just Google, I mean, it's one of the most expensive places in the world. It's like Singapore or one of these crazy countries. Singapore, London, you know, one of these wild places that has a, you know, exorbitant cost to the actual country. You know, comparing Dublin and Ireland to New York City is ludicrous, especially in Galway, okay, the West, which isn't expensive. Like, it's not an expensive, historically expensive city. Like, understandably so, Dublin, but someplace in the West, you know, that's crazy stuff.
In the United States, but I haven't noticed it being much more expensive than other European countries. You know, I went to Croatia last year, and that was about the same, I would say, like ticket and accommodation wise. So far it's been great. I love it. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's pretty pricey back in Boston too, so it's, you know, over here, although we don't have to ship over here.
Yes.
So the only difference between Ireland and the crazy price in the US is that they don't have to tip. I mean, it is just crazy ludicrous. I mean, crazy ludicrous, guys, the prices. So let me know your thoughts on that. I think tourism is down, prices are going up. You know, the standard of living in Ireland is just going through the shitter. And then what do we have? Politicians making flipping little taps and, you know, little water stations like, oh, here, just, you know, hand out water. It's bullshit, guys. We get nothing for free. We get nothing, you know, we don't even get public toilets here. You know, we have to pay for public toilets. You also have to, you know, clean these cities, which most of them aren't clean. If you guys go to any city in Ireland, you know, the taxes that we pay for isn't really keeping the country clean. There's crime going through the roof. You know, I mean, they're just, it seems like they're completely, you know, bought and paid for by different corporations, and they want to handle this money-making stuff in other ways by getting it from tourism. But, you know, tourism will continue to keep going down if nothing is done about the certain situations, and they got to stop focusing on dumb shit like building flipping water taps. You know what I mean? Crazy stuff. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today. We have like 9 members now, so I greatly appreciate that. We're going to be doing some probably member-only videos. Maybe not, though. I just like to have, you know, all my videos be free for the public to watch, to be honest, because I want to spread this message as much as I can. And I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one, man. Peace.